It's that time again, film buffs. Time for another segment of How I See It. Welcome to episode 11. Yeah, we're in the double digits now, aren't we? And today, I'm going to be reviewing How to Train Your Dragon number 3, or also called How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. So just so you know, right off the bat, my review will have spoilers. And I'm here again at Team Sound Studios, my home away from home. I don't need to say much about the first two How to Train Your Dragons. If you've seen the movies, you know what they're about. If you're going to see this movie, you probably know what they're about. We open with Hiccup. He's rescuing more dragons. One of the dragons on the boat that he leaves, he didn't see because it was in disguise. It was camouflage. Was another Night Fury, a white one. Everyone thought that Toothless was the last Night Fury, but it didn't turn out to be true because there was one more. I have to say that the first half hour to 45 minutes of the movie was a little bit clunky, just because there were some things about the characters that didn't make sense in the continuity after the first and second movie. Because after the second movie, you got this idea that everyone was competent, everyone was more of a badass, Hiccup was more of a badass, everyone worked well together with their dragons and with each other. But when they started out, there was still a lot of the side characters like Rough Nut and Tough Nut, Fish Legs, and the guy that Jonah Hill plays, I forget his name. And even Hiccup were still a little bit like bumbling. Like they were falling over each other. They were just acting more goofy like they were in the first movie. And the second movie, they showed more growth. And I kind of figured it would already pick up from there. But I guess they have to show levity to build up to the drama that's going to happen later. For me, I mean, I know, and I said this about Wreck-It Ralph, I know it's a kid's movie. I know it's an animated movie. And it wasn't really tailored for an audience like myself, a middle-aged guy. But the reason why I've seen the first two in the theaters is because I like the story. And the story in the first half was a little bit off-kilter, I'd say. But it was still entertaining. And one thing that really impressed me was how the animation improved. The first two were animated really well, but it seems like they upped the game for the third one. And Toothless is drawn really well. All the dragons are drawn really well. There's more detail in each of the characters, the dragons and the humans like. And I thought they did a really good job with the aesthetics of the movie. The visuals, the sound, the score, the sound effects. I thought it was a real eye-pleaser. More of the story. So we find out that there is this villain, Grimwald. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. But he is looking to capture the Night Fury because he knows that it's the alpha and he wants to control all the dragons. Which, that's my other problem with the movie, is they kind of did that in the second How to Train Your Dragon. You had the bad guy that mind-controlled Toothless, got him to go against Hiccup and the others, and that's what he was aiming to do. And eventually kill Toothless. But first he wanted to take control of all the dragons. And in the meantime, everyone in Berk were looking for the hidden world, where the dragons go and they can live in peace, and it's far away from where anyone can get to. You can only fly there. And they found it. Hiccup and Astrid. One of the things that also happened was Toothless and the other Night Fury were romantically involved. Hiccup told him that it's okay to go after her, and he built a makeshift tail for him so that he could fly by himself. And that was really cool to see because ever since the first How to Train Your Dragon, you get to see Toothless fly only with Hiccup and not be able to fly by himself. So it was cool to see what he could really do by himself. The scenes where he was flying were really spectacular, and when he was flying with the Light Fury were really spectacular. So they go to the hidden world. Hiccup and Astrid find the hidden world after they got there. Toothless took over as the alpha. What draw them to the hidden world was the fact that they needed to warn them of Grimwald because he was tracking them. Eventually what happens is they find the base where the Vikings are hiding, and Grimwald kidnaps the Light Fury and Toothless, and all the dragons follow them. Most of them are like, well, it's hopeless now, but Hiccup has a plan, of course. He makes flight suits for everyone so that they can go down and rescue the dragons from Grimwald on the ships. And there was this whole big ending battle sequence, which was cool. I don't know if it was as spectacular as the ending huge dragon scene in the first movie, but it was still a cool battle. It was good to see everyone in action. Of course, at the end, they rescue the dragons, and Hiccup realizes that in order for the dragons to be safe, they need to live in their own separate space, away from humans, because humans will always misunderstand them. They'll always try to hunt them, try to go after them. They'll fear them. Like in the first movie, they feared the dragons because they didn't know them. By the end of the first movie and in the second movie and in the third movie, they're friends with the dragons. But they learned how to respect them and how to live among them. It's not going to be easy for other humans because dragons to them are mythical folklore, and seeing actual live dragons would freak people out. Now Toothless has a love interest. Hiccup tells him, you guys should go, and all the dragons go to the hidden world. And it was meant to be a scene that tugs at your heartstrings, and it is a sad scene, because what they're doing is they're pretty much wrapping up the whole How to Train Your Dragon storyline. The dragons leave the human world and they go to the hidden world. And that's pretty much the end of their story until later on. The very last scene in the movie is Hiccup and Astrid. They get married, and years later they have kids, and they go to visit Toothless and the Light Fury. And they have kids too, so they fly together and they reunite. That probably happens every so often with them, but it's just between them and those dragons. As a whole, the dragon society is living by themselves, and the humans are living in their home, just like they did before the dragons. It was a nice way to wrap up the series. I liked it. I definitely enjoyed the movie a lot, despite some of the problems that I had with it. Like some of the characters were acting weird. Tough Nut was trying to be all up in Hiccup's business about getting married, and it was just kind of a strange turn. And the guy that Jonah Hill plays, I still don't remember his character. I'll put it in the description once I look it up, I promise. But he acts all jealous towards the guy that was a villain in the second one and turned a good guy, and they live among them. I'll look up his name too. He was all jealous of him. And then there was this whole thing where he was lusting after Hiccup's mom, and that was kind of weird. In these kinds of movies, there are some things that you just have to go, okay, whatever. It's not going to take away from the enjoyment of the movie. It's just not every movie is perfect in every single way. At the end of it, I think the movie deserves about a B+, if not A-. I'm kind of on the fence between those two grades. I thought the movie was enjoyable. If you've seen the first two, I definitely recommend seeing it. The problems that I had with it weren't severe, obviously, because I still enjoyed the movie. But at the same time, I thought, well, if you're going to wrap up the series, you got to end it with a bang. And it was kind of a bang, but it was a low bang, not a big bang, if you get my meaning. But anyway, that's how I see it. Just so you know, it might be a couple weeks before my next video, because I don't think anything's coming out next week, but Captain Marvel is in 2 weeks, and I'm definitely seeing that. And I'm definitely reviewing it too. But hope you guys are enjoying the reviews. Please let me know in the comment section what you think. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you later.